It began back in 2002 when we were asked to build a house for a customer that needed to be completely chemical free. Looking around, it was very difficult to find anyone to do that, so basically I set up the company and took it forward myself. I regard design as the intention, but it's frustrating if the intention is then watered down later on because the delivery aspect of the project isn't consistent with that original idea. So really what Macker is about is really it's an integrated process approach where the design work continues on into the actual delivery.
Macker just inspired us greatly. It's about being true to the environment, it's about being true to, you buy a piece of the earth and you may as well build something that's going to last and be worthwhile.
We're interested in the larger implications of the decisions we make.
We felt comfortable and at ease with their philosophy, their values.
We tend to use unchemically treated, non-toxic materials.
And Neil and Macker, certainly. I mean, Neil's passionate.
The resource issues, the wastage, it's just not acceptable that we continue with that ridiculous state of affairs.
His knowledge of eco-living and everything else is fantastic.
The good news is that by changing things, you provide better buildings for less money. They anticipate the future better, they're more comfortable, they're more joyful, they're inspiring, they're better for the customers.
We were preparing to retire. And it was by seeing the Macker house in Rafford. We'd never heard of Macker before. And we saw this house and we went, wow. And so we're looking, Macker, we'd never heard of that. So the very next day, Roger's on the phone, contacting Macker. Come in, talk to us.
The attraction for a customer coming to a company like Macker is the certainty over the quality that we're able to do in terms of the design, the manufacture of the house, the thermal performance of the house, and the delivery of those items. That's what Macker essentially offers, is a turnkey full package approach.
Everything seemed to go very positively from the beginning, even although friends were saying, it must be very stressful, it must be really stressful. Actually, no, it's really good, it's quite fun.
Working with an architect at Macker, we've got the opportunity to have an integrated approach across the business, and everything from day one, from initially meeting the customer, we're gearing up towards that manufacture. So that's the main difference. So we don't have to go out to tender and we don't have to seek different builders. We know what the build system is from day one.
The house development, talking to Scott, just was very simple, really. We'd already put our ideas of what our lifestyle was going to be like. We knew, it would be comfortable and warm. But the house, we wanted it not just to be in or out, we wanted it to be both. And that's again by the cleverness of the design, having an outdoor kitchen area, having the covered roofs. It gives us that ability all seasons.
A lovely site, it's a wooded site, sort of on a rise. It's got lovely views to the north and west. So that the site context and understanding that is important. It's constraints and opportunities.
Yeah, it's important that when we're working with the customer that we have a good understanding of what they need, which is why the design brief is so important. And it's essential that throughout the process, the design process, that we get to a point where all the fundamental decisions are made prior to it going into the workshop. So that's because we're doing it in an off-site situation, there isn't the opportunity to see the building before, for example, you choose your kitchen. That needs to be ordered prior to the house going up with the lead times that we're working to.
Scott was very patient if I said, well, I just can't visualise how the staircase is going to work. And so we would go over it again in the way that it, and that seemed a silly thing, but it actually was important to me to be able to know how it was going to fit into the house, because it's in the middle of the open plan.
So we use various three-dimensional modelling techniques to give the customer a visual representation of what it's going to look like prior to the building being going into the workshop.
In a workshop, we're in a better position to have all the things we need. So we have the materials, the information, the tooling. We're in a regularised environment, so in February it could well be snowing, and we're just as productive then as if we're in July. In terms of the assembly stage, I mean, that's the bit that's quite exciting. You know, you've got a crane on site, your panels are moving around, the house is effectively assembled in a matter of hours or a couple of days. But that's only possible if you do the other bits well. So you've got to get the designers to anticipate that, you've got to get all the stuff to site, so the transport, you've got to get it all organised, it's got to be in sequence, everyone's got to know what they're doing. Yeah, it works like clockwork when you've done all the groundwork and you know what you're doing.
The day that it was handed over to us, we felt as if we'd lived in it for quite a while, because we'd been part of its development. We grew with the space as it was being built. It's just a really good space, and friends are very complimentary. They say, oh, well, we normally have sort of like asthma or hay fever or things like that. But actually in the house, they say the air is so clean, and I know because I'm not sneezing.
Construction needs to progress. It needs to have higher values and standards, and the way to maintain that and to keep it consistent is to base it in a workshop, frankly.